Okay, welcome to part 10. This is continuing our build. We're going to be working on the new Vue.js form. So it's going to be like a multi-part form and kind of getting some stuff laid down to get this working between Vue.js and Rails, which is kind of a front-end meets back-end phenomenon, but doable. So we'll see what happens, how complicated this gets. Before I picked up and started recording this video, I did see that Ruby 2.7.2 was just released, and there's not a huge change to that other than depreciation warnings are now like turned off by default, which is something I've been wanting. So I installed that real quick before this video. You might, if you're following along, you don't really have to do that, but I just did just because I like to stay up to date. You'll notice my gem file and such has been changed as a result. So we're on 2.7.2 at this time in our gem file, and then our Ruby version as well. So also, I think I updated my theme on VS Code. It's right now it's what is it? Space gray, dark, like the ocean theme, I think. So if you're wondering why it looks different from the previous video, that might be why. I'm doing this. I'm filling out this series where I can, so it's not completely day to day or back to back. So apologies if there's, little lapses in time. So I'm gonna actually commit this. This will be part 10. Like I said, I'm on part 10 branch. So look for this if you're following along on GitHub. So we'll just say, just kind of get that going. So that will be part of this feature, eventually be merged into master. So if you're referring to the actual master branch, that's the most up-to-date code on the GitHub link, which I'll link to in this, either the blog post and the video. So check that out. Here's what our apps looks like. Nothing fancy. We don't have any like actual flow yet of getting to the job. We'll have to go to jobs new to actually create it. And we have a very bare bones new job form. I think it should be in this view. Maybe I don't have it up to date on the current branch because we had it before. Let's see what changed here. Did anything change? Yeah, part 9. I didn't merge part 9 into the master branch, it appears. So let me go do that real quick and I'll jump right back. All right, so I'm gonna rebase this now and you'll see, I'm just doing it all from GitHub. It's all good. I'm not gonna delete the branch so you guys have access to it. Again, everything is in this drop down here. We'll worry about the Dependabot and whatnot at some later point. So if we check out master, we can just pull down the latest. Cool, that's what I was looking for. There's a lot there. So if we say git check out part 10. I think we could say git rebase master. Then we could say get status, make sure everything's clean there, and then see what our app looks like at this point on localhost. So we've got Babel loader, hello Vue isn't in the pipe, it shouldn't be anyway. So I think I just need to restart my Webpack instance. So right here I have it already running. I have an alias called WDS, but it really stands for bin Webpack dev server. So we'll reboot that. I'm pretty sure it just needs to recompile, but we'll find out. And once that happens, looks like we're still getting an issue. I need to run yarn. Okay. Try that again. Okay, cool. So now we've got something. We got a jobs link. Really no reason to have that yet, but we will. If we go to new, we'll see our fancy Vue app at this point. So super fancy, There it is. That's the whole app. No. Okay. On this page, let's make it a little more unique. Maybe we don't want our full header in Vue too. And we want to start adding our actual job details in this view too. So we'll start probably in this video, do the job detail UI and kind of just go from there. So I'll be, flying by the seat of my pants, but also just kind of getting this set up. So we've got our steps already employed here. We just need the actual fields. If we look at, I'll probably reference my model for all these. So if we go to job model, we've got our commented here from the annotate gem we use. So that's kind of nice. So we basically need a ton of fields for a lot of these things. So like link to apply, title, all those things. So let's get that going. And I probably will separate these out as their own individual components because I think that makes sense. We can do more. So let's just get that ball rolling. Components. We need to import each. So I'll create, we've got, let's see, should I make subfolders? I might just make like a new fields folder and make one called like title. Typically, I think a convention in Vue is to do it as 2 words. I'm not really sure why. It just is. Snippet. I've got Vue.js snippets installed, so that saves me some time there. I think this is all we need. We probably don't even need. I'll just leave that alone. This will contain our title input and labels. So we could say like a label for title, and we'll say title, probably get a class label. Input type will be text. We'll give it an ID of title just to be like a semantic HTML here. So the label actually identifies by that. Let's see, what else do we need with this? Placeholder, maybe. Placeholder would be enter a job title. We could say require just native HTML, but we're going to require it with some Vue validation. I'm probably going to use a validation library called Validate, I think. I've used it in the past. It's kind of not my favorite, but it does work quite well. So it's just something to know. Now we need to import that component. So we'll say job title from, let's see, we need to go back a couple fields, job title. And you might condemn me for not using semicolons, but they make everything look ugly to me. So my formatter when I save is going to add them, but if you don't see me add them traditionally like on my own, that's why. I just don't prefer them. But since the formatter is doing it, it's whatever. So let's say job title now, and you can do this with Vue. I think you can do job title and just kind of run with that. I think kebab case is typically, I don't know if it's typically as a convention. I think a lot of developers tend to lean towards, that's fine. So we don't really need to pass in params that I'm aware of. We might need to pass in like the job object that gets passed through. I'm trying to think. Yeah, we've got it here as props already. Not going to have anything there at the moment. So let's see if that works. We get any type of inclination of components here. We've got a form, job info, job fields, job title. What am I missing here? I got to declare it here, job title. There we go. So now we got a field. Doesn't look great, but we can at least ensure it's working. For now, I'm going to do some basic default styling. I'll probably just spruce this up to give it a little more, I don't know, personality, but we'll get there. So this will clean things up quite a bit when it comes to getting the form set up. So our main form is going to be encapsulated within this entire form element. But the gist of everything in here is going to live probably within Java Info, and then also within Purchase. We're going to integrate Stripe into that. So let's continue on. Just kind of get these scaffolded. Refer to my notes here, job company. Let's say, I guess we could do company. We'll start with the job details, perhaps, and then go down about the job, maybe. So like about the job. And then somewhere down here, we'll say company details. Let's just say about the company. Let's see if we can make these kind of look nice. Give it some margin, make it bigger, font black, make it bold. There we go. Even bigger. Cool. A little less margin. Okay, we'll copy that down to the other heading. Right on. So with the initial fields, I think I want to add the estimated hours, link to apply. Haven't made this yet, but I will. Apply link. Okay, and we'll add that there. Pretty much copy this. Okay, and then we just need to create that. In fact, I'm going to duplicate this file and just rename it. This is one thing why VS Code does not have a duplicate. That's ridiculous. So let's say job or apply link. Pretty much paste this in. We'll say label for apply link. Just leave that as is. I won't really host the job details. I just kind of want you to provide the link to your job is kind of what I'm thinking. I think most job sites do that anyway, because the ones that make you enter your details and everything right then and there or apply through the whole entire app kind of want to own everything. I think that's kind of crap. So leave it at that. Okay, let's call it apply link. Right on. Now the cool thing with Vue is you can add on the components, you can have classes already. So we could just do it on the thing itself. And I could be more reusable with this and make it like a generic input and then pass in other stuff. But I think these are all going to be a little unique in what they are. So let's do like a job description. And we'll do the same class, 6. And same thing here. This is all just like busy work, so I apologize if it's a little boring. This will be a text area though, so we'll add that. This will be, well, let's do text area. Go. And we need to declare it on the form, not form, the info step. I'll order these at some point just because OCD like that, but For now, we're going to leave it alone. Fix that. Don't need that. And the label for this will be description. There we go. And we might need like a minimum height on that. So min height, let's give it, I'll have to maybe doctor that up with, maybe I can do style. I don't know, some random number there. And this will actually be, now that I'm thinking about it, this could be the tricks editor. Do I want to do that though? I think I do. So let's actually, I'm going to use a component for this. It's called Vue Tricks. Let's go install that. I found this previously. It looks pretty neat. It's basically just tricks ported over to Vue.js, which is nice. And action text is tricks if you're not sure. So that's just a way to add it with Vue and kind of handle some state and stuff. So let's add that to our stack. And let's check out the docs. I think you just need to import it as a component. Yeah, I think I'm going to do it that way instead of like a full global. So we'll do that instead of this instead. I might keep the label. So in here, we'll actually import tricks and we'll say components, Vue tricks, and then we could say Vue tricks. I think it's got some defaults. I don't really need, eventually make this a model. Let's copy this one. So we might say like job.description here for the Vue model, which we'll set up. We don't have that yet. Enter more details. Something like that. One neat thing with this library is it enables you to use local storage by default. So if you navigate away, the state of that input is saved. That's something I'm actually going to use a lot of in this is local storage, because if you do happen to navigate away from the form, I want you to be able to come back and either reset the form or continue on. Of course, if you paid already, we might reset the form after that. But that's just something, it's based on your own session, not anyone else's. There's no like, with Vue, it's not really like, there's no real context of current user. You can make that work. But that's like throwing a lot of JSON around and talking to the server a lot with AJAX and stuff. And realistically, you don't really need to do so much of that, at least in my experience. So this isn't mounting. Let's figure out what's bugging it. Errors. Jobs not final instance for reference during render. Okay. Can we just not mount it yet? I guess I need to accept props here. And required is true. So we definitely need a job. There we go. So there's stuff there. My logs persist. So if you see that going on, that's why. We'll get this warning a lot, and I think it's due to turbo links and stuff in the app, just the way Webpack's set up and stuff too. I'll address it later on, but that's just something to know. Cool. So there's a basic ugly looking UI, but we'll fix that up coming up. So let's see, what else do we need? Link to apply. We've got if it's remote or not. So we need that. Years of experience. So we probably need that. All right, so job. here, job experience. Put this one first because A, B, C. There we go. Now we need to add some stuff there. What's that going to be? A select field. Do we have any like predefined stuff here? Experience, we could just say like years of experience range. We could do something like that, which is gonna just be like all these. So with Vue, the sucky thing with this is I could go and get this and serve it to AJAX in the app and, you know, do that back and forth talking, but I think that's just a stupid route. So you could just do it hard coded. So let's see about doing that. Basically, I'm thinking of like a select field here. So we could say select. Oh my gosh, I can't even type select. We'll leave name alone. Here's, just call it job experience down the pipe. So job experience. And I want to add a label for this too. Okay, and we'll have a list of options. We could loop through this, but I think just, what should I do? Should I loop through it? Yeah, let's do that. So we could just say like data return. I did that wrong. Or did I do that wrong? Is that right? Yeah. And we could set like, let's see, experience levels. Let's put that there. So we've got that. Then we could just say like v4 experience item. Let's just say item in experience levels item. And we need like a key item. I think that could work. Maybe. We'll find out. Yeah. So there we go. Doesn't look good, but we'll get to that. So with Tailwind, I do this thing where we do relative. And we need a drop-down arrow. I typically steal it from Tailwind, to be honest. Do I have it in the app already? Select arrow. Okay, so let's grab the SVG from that view. So we can make a component out of this. I guess I will. Let's just say, what the hell should it be? Miscellaneous? It's not very good naming. Let's just get like a generic icons folder maybe. And I could import this like as an image, but I want an SVG in place personally, so you can judge me all you want, but that's just what I'm gonna do. So select arrow.view. This will be such bullshit of a component, but basically that, and we're done. And if you want to set like, I guess we could do like props and allow let's see, classes. String, let's say required false. You can set defaults here, so we'll say default, and we'll just make it this to start with. Honestly, this makes no sense though, because we're gonna like, I'm just gonna leave it alone. If you have more than one icon or something, props make more sense, but this is just one icon. And I could pass classes down, to be honest. I will leave it as is for now. We'll come back. But we do need to import it here. So we'll call it select arrow and import the file. Okay. Then we just need to put select arrow there. Now we need class select on the select field. I've got that. This isn't rendering for whatever reason. We're going to leave out value for now. Actually, value probably should be key, or not key, item. I think that'll work. So if we view source, it'll actually be the thing we want it to be. So 1, 2, 3, 4, 10, more than 10. Okay, cool. Why is label not rendering? Oh. There we go. So we've got that. I'm gonna like float these left and right and stuff too to save some space, and then also make this just look nicer. But I'm gonna get to that when we have the fields. And why isn't this arrow rendering? I'm trying to figure that part out. Inset. I feel like it's rendering. It just might be not where I think it is. Select. Oh, it should be after the select for freaking starters. There we go. So now it's way over here. Cool. So now that kind of gets us going there. There's no real data being, passed around just yet. Eventually we will pass the job details down so this persists and saves a certain state. So if you were to navigate away and you selected like 6, I kind of want that to stay there, and so you wouldn't have to reselect it or miss that you did. On all these fields, I kind of want to display a required block too. So before I get going too far, I'm going to put a span right after the label. That's just going to say, we're going to call it class required. And it's essentially just going to add like a little red dot that kind of gives the form. Okay, so the actual class will probably, I could put that at global. Maybe I will just do it globally because we might share it on the actual Rails app too. So let's say on the forms, I'll just add this class, kind of scope it to that span tag. So required, because we might use it elsewhere. We're going to do really small, rounded full, like just a red dot basically. So BG red, 100 inline block relative, and just do like, I think I'm referring to some notes. So that's how it's supposed to look, I think. So if we refresh, one of these has it now. Let's double check if I've got the apply link. Yeah, so right there, it needs to float to the right of the label though. So the label itself needs to be inline block. Do I need to modify this whole thing? So that works, okay. Since these labels are used else, I'll just do it globally. I'm trying to think if I should do this just in the app or not. It's denoted as block here, but we can make it inline block. Let's see what happens. Okay, so now I just need to add, before I go too far, just basically add this span tag to this, experience title. We definitely want that. Cool. So that sets that up. So now each should have it. We'll require, most of these fields will be required, but it's just kind of saying for sure that it is. We probably want to just denote what that red dot means at the top. So maybe just a real small we could do like a span tag here that just says required. See if that looks like anything. We need to flex those, I think. Can I do that? I think it's doing the top thingamajig. So I think this looks kind of funky. So if we just say, does that mess up stuff? Yeah, kind of. All right, so we could say margin left like 2. There we go. Okay, something like that. I'll make this look nicer too. I keep saying that. Preface everything with job, but I think that's not really necessary because compensation type. Okay. Here we need our snippets, so we'll do that. This will be just a select field again, so I might copy some of this stuff over. That might need to be rephrased, but that's good for now. So compensation type. We don't really need to do the v4, I don't think. So we'll just hard code. There's only 2. We might do 3 though. One will be like hourly, or maybe it's just full-time and contract. So we'll just do that. What does the model tell me? Right now it is contract and full-time, so we'll just stick with that. So we'll say option value contract. I might just make these the same value and label. I mean, I could doctor it up with the Ruby side if I want to, but I think it's not going to matter. I'm going to save them as strings anyway. So now we've got this. Our select arrow needs to be ported over as well. I'll grab that. Okay, good deal, good deal. Job details almost complete. So if it's hourly, we'll need to add that. So we'll say, if it's contract, I should say, so we'll say estimated hours, and we'll conditionally display this. depending on the compensation type. So we can pretty much do that quick and easy with Vue. I don't know, what should this be? Should it be like an input? Maybe more like this. This is kind of a weird range, but I'll keep it like that. Why not? So this could be loop through. We could pull this array back. I don't really want to use like greater than or equal to signs here because that could conflict with like any type of query we do and stuff, and it just gets confusing. So that's just one reason there I don't want to. And do our snippet, paste in, need a data. Let's see, hourly range. And select field, yeah. So we'll just kind of, again, borrow from here. And I don't know if I'm updated the labels and stuff in the other one. Probably not. Yeah, I did. So this will be in item in hourly ranges. Estimated hours. Hours. Oh my god. This assumes it's an hourly project, so sometimes contract roles aren't really that. Sometimes they're just like flat project based. So that could be, I could probably fluctuate that, like if it's per project or something, but I don't know. I'm just gonna leave it as is, I think, for now. I feel like if more people use the app and dictate the job posting a bit, we'll be able to, you know, kind of hear feedback, assuming we do, about what fields actually make sense to them and what more info they would want to know or see. I'm getting confused here. We need to first import components, the select field again. The select arrow, I mean. So we'll say select arrow, import select arrow from I always hit the wrong key. Okay, so that gives us at least the arrow. It's not rendering though, because we need to establish the right spelling here. And display it here. There we go. So that's going to be estimated hours, hourly ranges. Why is it duplicated? What the hell is happening? Why is that duplicated? Oh. I kind of preferred item. And there we go. Okay. So that's only if that's a contract role. So we can just say like if we could do it in line here. So it's like v if like something like so, like what did we call it? Contract. Basically that. We don't have that set up yet, but that's something that would happen. So once this is displayed, that would actually filter down. For now, I'm going to leave it off just so I remember it's there. Otherwise, it will throw me off. Okay, continuing on, let's get this finished up. Let's see, compensation range. We need that. Maybe we'll do that first. And we'll do it second. Okay, and we need to create that field. Okay. Pretty much gonna copy this over and we'll just change a few things. So range for one, and I'll say estimated because obviously it varies depending on the party. We need to have a data. This will probably come back through as a global store at some point pretty soon. Maybe once I get these fields set up, I'll probably add a store and actions. Kind of if you're familiar with Vue, maybe you've heard of UX, but I don't want to use that full framework because it gets quite complicated fast, even though it is very useful. I kind of want to invent my own just for this small app, so we'll be doing that. I found it pretty useful and kind of clear because you kind of set it up yourself. You understand where things are at instead of UX patterns you need to implore. Where am I at? Compensation range, we've got that. We need to get all of this data back. This will be, like I said, we'll map this out to a central store at some point. So we'll come back to these files for sure. Let's just say ranges. Let's just make it a little explicit. Compensation ranges. So we could say, kind of following the convention of this. Let's say option or item. And I think that does it. Now we need to add compensation range, compensation ranges. That should do it. Then in our info, let's double check it's set up correctly. Boom. Cool. Now I got some cool data to work with there. Wonder if I can add. Does this kind of throw it off? So maybe we can make, depending on locale, at some point, kind of update that to be either like Euro or USD or Rand or whatever wherever you live. Or yen, I don't know. Okay, so that's like the job, I think. What else do we got? Hourly ranges, status. That's not anything we need to worry about on the front end. I think that's it for the job details. Now we need the company details. Oh, we need to know if it's remote or not. So let's do that. Remote. Let's just call it like job remote. I don't know. That's a terrible name. let's see. How do you do inputs? Remote or radio inputs are kind of tricky with this stuff. And then we could just do, I think we need to kind of do yes and no kind of thing with this. Because we need to say what the value would be. So we need two input fields essentially. So input type radio. And we're going to give it remote. Let's say is remote. And then is, I don't know, that's terrible. But we need to set explicit values, I think, for Vue to kind of pick this up. So, and then we'll do V models at some point that says like job dot, what's the actual attribute? Remote, yeah, remote. So they'll share the same model, but we'll dictate the value based on what's selected. With a little hacking. So we could say yes and no for now. But we need labels with these too. So instead of this label, I'll put like an actual like paragraph tag. Let's just say, is this role remote? Something like that. We'll do our span tag of required. And then we have our inputs with our label for is remote. Kind of want to make it not so bold as the other labels. So we'll say no for this one. And we'll say is not. So these are going to look kind of wonky because I think I want them inlined. And let's make sure we can display it first. So we need to pass in props job. Type will be object. I'm going to probably do this for all of them. Required true. A little bit of type checking there. And going back to our job form bit, we need to import that. So import, what was that called? Job remote from fields, job remote, and declare it. So job, and display it up here. I should do that both places. There we go. So we got something like that going on. We need a little style of there. So this I'm going to do kind of in a grid. So maybe grid calls to start there, but then we'll just do large will be 2, and then on small screens we'll do calls 1, gap will be pretty big, so like 8, something like that. Then we need some like interior divs to group these, and we'll set call spans on those so you can like declare how wide they are. So call like so. Oops, wrong screen. So we've got, they're way spread out. Probably don't need that. Maybe we'll do like 6 and see how they look. Something like that. It kind of looks stupid though. Maybe I'll just do flex. And not even have those. Let's see what it looks like. I can type. There we go. So we could just do some like basic margin right maybe a little more. Okay. We'll doctor that up too, but for now that's working okay. The span right here we need to kind of flex as well, so kind of hacking that. Go. And we'll do margin bottom of like 3. Maybe we will make this, give it a class label. There we go. So now we can at least get that going. Maybe we'll do won't even do margin there. Cool. Good enough. So that's a start. That would be all the fields for the job details. In the next video, since this is going on quite a while now, I'll do the company fields, and then we'll kind of wrap things up and kind of style it a bit too. So I'll see you in the next one. Hello Rails is my new course on Ruby on Rails. I'll teach you Ruby on Rails from the ground up. Visit hellorails.io for more information.